What's going on, Milwaukee? What's going on, Gwinnett County, Georgia? Clark, Atlanta, stand up. This is Chase Rule, movies, music, sports, and life. And we have come to the final episode of our boy Kanan. I guess we still raising him. Maybe we still got some raising to do with Kanan, but um, I would say legitimately, to me, the show might be better than Power. Um, the original. Some people might say that that's crazy and you taking it too far to say something like that. But I'm looking at it from the perspective whereas Power was all over the place for about 6 years, 5 or 6 years. To me, Power Book 3 just staying right there in Queens, it it's an instrument for better storytelling. And that's just the way I see it. I think the storytelling is much better when you don't have to worry about him flying, Tommy flying to Chicago to meet with the Russian mob, and it's just uh, Ghost going upstate New York. It just seems like the storytelling is easier to stay on top of. So let's get into some of the things, and I think 11 o'clock is a perfect time for me to do this one because for all of you who watched the BMF show, um, I did watch it. My initial things, I wasn't even going to watch it, but I had to watch the first episode to really make a decision on if I'm going to review it or really watch it. And I'm going to stand firm. I only told a couple people that I probably was not going to be reviewing it or watching it. And after seeing the first episode, I feel I feel good with standing on that. I think there's just a certain limit of these type of shows that I can take in. And as somebody who has a minor in African American history, on my resume from college, I just think that I can only take so many snowfalls, even though I like snowfalls, so many powers, um, so many BMF, so many shots. I can only take so many shows that are depicting us this way and also reinforcing what's already going on in our inner cities. I don't think that what we depict on these shows is gonna get any of our young men more apt to going to school, getting married, a lot of different things like that. So, at any rate, let me see what I got here. Okay, phone, don't fail me now. The first thing, Scrappy, when Kanan is like, well, don't you want to know who I clapped? Don't you want to know who it was? And Scrappy said, that's your work, not mine. So that's automatically showing you that there's a different code in terms of how people who move like this in the streets on how they view situations. In New York, Dame Dash he coined the phrase "chatty patty." You look at that almost like gossip. Like I don't have no interest in who it was that you knocked off or took care of because that was for you to do. That wasn't for me to do. So I really respected Scrappy for explaining it to Kanan that way. And I think that Kanan kind of understood, kind of learning how he's supposed to be operating as a young man in life by observing what the older people do. Interestingly enough, once Scrappy found out that it was a cop that Kanan put down, he said, "It's like that." So that kind of increased Scrappy's respect level for him. Um, I don't know about you guys, but I know sitting at home, some of you had to be thinking when Famous said, "Yo, that's that cop that's been following us." I know I wasn't the only one that thought that Famous was gonna run his mouth to the wrong person and either get somebody killed or get himself killed. Uh, so, and you guys probably also noticed that Famous has really been downplayed a lot. I would say ever since he got the stage fright and did his song, it just seems like he's hardly been in any scenes anymore. And I can't really wrap my head around what kind of storyline or what type of angle is on the horizon that Famous was getting so little screen time. And I know you guys don't like his sister. His sister was getting way more screen time than him. But yeah, that was just kind of funny because I just knew in my head that Famous was gonna snitch, squeal unintentionally, and get people jammed up. But luckily it didn't happen. Um, so as I said, Kanan paid his respect to Scrappy, and I guess Scrappy probably more on the level of just being glad to be alive, told Kanan that regardless of who your mom is, I think you're a real one. Now, something super interesting. Um, when Miss Patina Miller, aka Rock, asked her son, "Did you hit him twice in the heart and once in the head like I taught you?" At first he lied. Then he said, "No, it was only two. But what does it matter? I put him down." No, he literally said, "Does it matter?" Sir, the helicopter lights coming through that little back room should indicate, yeah, it does matter. Because reality is that it was going to matter if you killed him. But boy, the very fact that you didn't take him out and those helicopters are going around, it's even uglier for you. Like it's rough out here for you. From the standpoint that, you know, as we know, he survived. He could tell, he could not. Just the very fact that you didn't follow directions and he's still here, you're opening the door to the possibility that he could tell. So, yeah, you kind of think you're smarter than your mama. You think you're smarter than Rock, but she's showing you time and time again that she's smarter than you. You need to listen. Um, Unique is kind of beside himself that somebody would hit a cop. Obviously, he knows nobody from his crew. And then he says something very interesting. And what's very interesting that he says is that if you remember when him and Rock used to be semi cool, and they used to have they weekly drug dealer conference where they talk about business and stuff like that. It was a very cordial relationship. It seemed like they used to have. Almost had me wondering if they used to have something going on in the past for them to be that cool that they talking about, street business. Um, he just suddenly had an epiphany, and it just hit him. She said that I would never see it coming, and he gave her her props to say she was right. I kind of let my guard down with her. I didn't see this coming, you know. But to Rock's credit, and to his credit for being smart in terms of being a street guy, he is probably referring to the fact that of all the things that he thinks that Rock would do or is capable of doing, taking out a cop is extremely dangerous. So he probably didn't really think that she had it in her to try that. But obviously, he didn't know Rock. After Rock talked to Kanan, got the toothbrush to scrub the fingerprints. After she told him she loved him and she was going to be sending some backup support, when she closed that door, she kind of paused and hesitated. Y'all know what that was, right? She was thinking to herself, am I going to lose my son? And I don't mean is someone going to kill him. She's thinking to herself, if he figures out that Detective Howard is his dad, and I sent him to kill his dad without telling him that I knew that he is your dad, will this dude forgive me? And I kind of think she knows the answer to that. It's one thing to skip to Wiz. It's another thing to make me America's most wanted. You just had me commit a federal offense. Forget local and state. You just made me commit a federal felony, and the person you made me do it to is my dad. And you didn't give me that heads up to opt out of doing that. Marvin shows up and wants to get back into Unique's apartment, and I will admit it was pretty crafty, especially the maintenance man's suit. I just don't think that anybody who is paid to take care of watching a residence would be that gullible to notice that somebody the side of their face is burnt up, and yet they talking about checking for gas leaks so that the apartment doesn't explode. Like something about his face being burnt up should tip you off to the fact that something is off about this. But I guess that's just TV land. Forgive me for not knowing the white female cop's name, Detective Howard's partner, but she gives Jukebox a pass. There wasn't a whole lot to that scene, but immediately after, I just I guess you guys can say I've been on her jock. Um, I've been kind of sweating her all season. But this young lady that plays Juke is just I probably might say she's the smartest person on the show. I think she's smarter than Rock, her dad, Kanan. Symphony might be the only person that can rival her in terms of intelligence. And then you could probably make the case that Symphony doesn't have Jukebox's street sense on top of regular intelligence, emotional intelligence. And she just told Kanan, um, you can leave all that tough guy stuff like, that's what we do. She basically like, man, we 16, 17 years old. It ain't no, that's what I do. This is what we're doing. We're learning as we're going. And the life that we are in and the life that we have chosen is messed up. So don't try to wear it as if you some type of warrior. She said you just a dumb kid who don't know no better. But she did admit it's scary because she can't imagine what he's going to do. Now, Marv get arrested, and every time it seems like Marv does something to redeem himself, he does something dumb. It's like he just, why couldn't you take the side streets? Why would you have to take a main highway, a main exit, and take the chance of getting pulled over? He just always comes up short in terms of stuff like that. Lulu was so angry at Rock, but he was too weak to fully go off because he's still recovering from his wounds. Now, you probably thought like me that when he told Rock that I'm out, you probably thought like me that she was going for a gun or she had a gun. I really thought that that was the case. But she did something colder. She knows how much the music business means and how it represents an out. It represents the fact that I could possibly do something different. And she killed those hopes by telling him it doesn't matter how big the record label gets, how big the studio gets, how much money they make. It all comes from the fact that you are a low down drug dealer from Queens, and I will snitch on you. It was like telling him that I'll snitch on you was worse than just pulling out a gun and you ain't going nowhere. You know, that's strategy, you know, because as a woman, if she just wants to simply say, I'll overpower you and kill you, as a man, Lulu is probably strong enough, as we saw with the superintendent in the apartment to try to overpower her, that he could do it. But in terms of what she says I can do, take your whole music dream and just blow it up. So that's more of a threat than her quote unquote just strong arming him. Um, she calls Symphony and she leaves a message saying, I know I'm the last person that you want to hear from, but I wouldn't call you unless I needed you. Shout out to my boy Chance from Louisiana. But me and him had some fun back and forth, basically saying that me or him could never be Symphony and let Rock talk to us like that, and then even give a tip about who not to trust. Like it wouldn't have been no words for her. But just as I predicted, here he come like light skinned Jesus. You know what I'm saying? To save the day, to open that door. And I guess there's nothing that Rock can say or do to him that's ever gonna have him just say, "I'm done with you." Like he's just stuck on her. But I would have been out. Um, Something that Jukebox said to Kanan after Symphony got them out. She said, "I love you," in a very concerned and serious way. The only thing that went through my mind when I listened to the way that Juke told Kanan, "I love you," is what in the world could she have done before pointing a gun at Tariq? Because that's just reactionary. Yeah, Yeah, 50, aka Kanan, smoked her because I told you don't point no gun at Tariq. You did it anyway. You don't listen. But there had to be something else that she did before that moment that justified to him, I gotta kill my cousin because she's crazy. And I just say that because this young actress Haley is just so good that when she's told Kanan I love you, it's almost like that's her brother, not her cousin. I would almost say she probably like Rock. I definitely can tell she loves Rock, but it seems like the way she told Kanan I love you, she loves him more than anybody else in the world. Maybe with the exception of her girlfriend who died off of that overdose. So it just really just had me thinking, what are we gonna see in season two, three, four, five that would build up any type of hatred that Kanan would be able to justify in his mind to take her out at any given time, you know? Uh, so then the PSA sample comes on. Doom, 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 doom. But it's the original song. So, of course, that puts you in the drug dealing, hustling state of mind that obviously Jay Z, 80% of everything he rapped about used to. And I don't know about you guys, but I know that we were getting towards the end of the episode. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed because I was expecting either somebody else to die or there be some type of other revelation in the show. And it was a little bit anticlimactic. It kind of, you know, man, you making us wait until 2002, probably summer, I'm guessing, summer or fall of 2022. That's a long time to just kind of have it at bottom numbers, not too dramatic of a series finale. I kind of think episode 8 and 9 both were better than this episode. And of course, Detective Howard wakes up in the hospital. Partner makes no hesitation. Who shot you? It's almost like he wants to look at like, no, I can't answer that question. And it's really interesting to see how is he gonna play that because we know he needs that bone marrow, but does he have any leverage with Rock to make her do it other than telling Rock, I'll tell them it was your son. So my final note, and we come in under 25 minutes for this finale. Kanan does his what do you call that, narration. He says, can't even trust your own mama. The reason why that last statement was powerful is because mark my words, that's a prediction. Kanan, aka Young 50 Cent, will not work for his mama selling drugs in season 2 of Raising Kanan, Power Book 3. He is going to go out on his own if he does not take his mother out. He is going to go out on his own and he will not be under her after he finds out that she lied to him willfully about who his dad was. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and I will see you back here again when our book 2, season 2 starts, November 21st. See you.